back once again with another fresh cut. You are now tuned into the underground. My name is Mbaya. I go by the Doctor. If you are not subscribed yet, this is one of those channels that goes in depth on haircutting tools, as well as what you need to be doing to make life easier for yourself to produce quality work. Anyway, today what I will be doing in this video is a high fade with curls on top, of course. Just a little bit of some textured curls. I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into it using my Rebel with the clipper lever open. I'm going to go ahead and set in my first guideline. I'm not creating the ball guideline until I have established this first guideline here, because this is an easy way to go at it when you are first starting out how to create a fade. Now, of course, what I will be using is the Protege trimmer, of course, the hitter. Some of you who have been following me for some time now, keeping up with me, are definitely aware of what I mean when I bring up this Protege, which is really covered up with a hitter lid. And technically speaking, this is really the hitter disguised as a whole different trimmer called the Protege. Anyway, enough of that. So I'm gonna go ahead straight up at this and create my bald guideline. I'm going to go right underneath where I have created that first guideline, just to kind of keep a separation. This is easy to do this way because you have to flip the blade over and go right underneath that to make sure that you remove that in full. So that way it is easier for you to blend. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna taper out the beard first real quick with no guards, no whatsoever, just using my trimmer and the comb, just kind of setting that in. Then I will move into cleaning up more of that hair and create a completely bald guideline, or completely just pretty much bald out the bottom half of the head. Remove everything. After you establish that, then you start to ease underneath that line that you created and start to remove that hard line. This is really easy stuff. There's many ways to execute or slice this whole thing up, but this is the one way that I do this. And if you've been, of course, subscribed to this channel and watching me do these different tutorials, I think you'll have an idea of what it is that I do here and how easy I try to make the job for you. But anyway, thank you for joining my journey in teaching and helping others. So if you're paying attention to what I'm doing here, I'm gonna go ahead and move on from the trimmer and use my Protege, which is pretty much the alpha with the clipper lever closed all the way, and start to erase that guideline that I created with the bald line and start to go into that half that I created with the clipper lever all the way down using my Rebel. Now you can see with my Protege here, I just opened the clipper lever halfway. And I'm starting to soften that line up and close it back just a little bit and start to literally remove that, okay? Simple stuff, simple stuff. It's all about clipper closed and clipper lever, of course, open. You play around with that. You have to improvise based on what you're seeing. If you don't know how to use your lever by this point from watching my past videos, you need to go and watch those videos. This is one of those things where it is a feel thing, especially the simple fact that I removed the click feature on this lever, and now I have a floating lever in comparison to this Rebel, which has a click lever. And the blades on those things are definitely different. For those of you who don't know, now you know. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and jump back to my Rebel with the lever open with my number 1 guard and establish my next guideline. Start to work my way up into that fade, staying underneath that ridge, so that way I don't go into the curls. We want to keep those curls. He's starting to grow out his hair up top. He usually never wears it longer on top, but I believe he wanted to switch it up a little bit and start to go ahead and get some more texture up top. Up next, of course, using the number 1 guard, go ahead and open it halfway and start to soften up that line, and quickly go ahead and close it all the way and start to erase the line even more. This would not completely remove this line because you're almost creating a invisible guideline as you go up into the hair underneath that ridge, of course. To remove this line, what you will need is a 0 guard. So in a moment, I'm going to go ahead and switch out from the number 1 guard and go ahead and attach my 0, which I will go in with it open. But of course, this is something that you will have to improvise as you go based on what you see. So you have to be the judge. Of course, 0 guard, as you can see. Go ahead and keep it open. Start to slowly go into that and soften up the line. Close it slowly, bit by bit, and ease your way into that line as you go up into the fade. And it will slowly start to erase the line. This is a very simple method, a technique that you can use on almost any haircut. This will vary from texture to texture, of course. Not going to say that this is just the magic way to execute a high fade. There's many different ways to do this high fade, but this is a step-by-step. So if you're paying attention, these are techniques that will help you get more money, move through fades faster. This is a full service, by the way, so I'm going to be going for about 40-45 minutes tops in real time, but I'm going to speed this up to where we will probably knock this out for those of you who are viewing in about 30 minutes. So hopefully so far this is helpful to help you get that fresh fade. Now that I have established the fade, I'm going to go ahead and move on with my number 2 guard with the clipper lever open and start to work my way above that ridge and start to blend the hair into the curls, as in the fade. Of course, I'm going to blend that fade into the curls. So I'm using my open to close technique and I'm working my way from up to down. So with the clipper lever open, as you can see, I'm working my way around the back. The left side of the fade is already fully blended. I didn't really show that side because I was only showing you one side of the hair. And if there's anything that you are seeing as far as weight right now, lines whatsoever, I will come back to that later on during my detail part of the service. There's times where these things will happen where you may have things left behind, but in the moment while you're working on a haircut, you can worry about that later because you always have to remember to check your work. So I'm using my open to close technique, going from the curls, working my way down. And this is something that you have to be the judge of. If you have to throw a number 3 guard on, like right now, I just threw a 3 guard on here so I can work my way higher into the hair, so that way the transition is flowing smoothly and flawlessly. You don't want to have a lot of leftover work or unfinished looking work. You don't want that. So I know some people may beat me up for the simple fact that why would you not just establish the fade or everything that needs to be done right away? Well, that's why we check our work, okay? And this shaver is something that I recommend to do after you bald out everything at the bottom of the fade. But like I say, it's a feel thing. You be the judge, and I'm going to go ahead and by using my shaver, I will remove what's necessary, but I'm going to go down on the hair first, remove as much stubble as possible, After I establish that, I will of course flip my shaver over and use that one single foil, just so I can use one side of the foil and start to remove every stubble all the way. This helps me get that bald skin zero. There's nothing left behind. So this helps me really remove that. And if anybody is wondering what this shaver is called, this is the Prodigy from Stylecraft. If you want this thing, definitely get you one. I call it the red pill. This thing is amazing. Definitely use my discount J.Exquisite to get you that good old money off. If you don't like saving money, I know I do, use that code. Yep, so I'm gonna go ahead and just make sure everything is removed completely. Making sure everything's nice and smooth, nothing left behind. And if there's anything left, just make sure you detail that. This is where that detail work comes in that I was talking about. I'm going to use my, of course, ES4 blade from ENHANCEMENTS in collaboration with Gamma Plus. This thing is one of my favorite blades on the market. Definitely is worth it. And talking about this thing is good for certain details, like removing those small little details, like little hairs left behind that the shaver may have missed, or what the trimmer couldn't get that I used to bald out, which is going to be expected. This is why you need different tools. Sometimes the trimmers just miss certain things due to the fact that that one blade in particular that you use, such as the blade that I used on the Prodigy to remove, as in zero, the fade out, was of course a deep tooth cutter blade, which is equipped with the X Pro blade. Of course, moving blade is a deep tooth cutter, so, and the steel blade is X Pro. So it's definitely worth it. It does its thing. Great for lineups whatsoever. As I prep everything on the front of his line, I'm going to use my short tooth attachment comb. This is a 1 guard, of course, and you know, we're gonna go ahead and just play around with that lever action a little bit and remove some bulk from the front. I don't want to remove too much because I want to keep this dark so I can get that 3D look from when I do line them up. And I'm going to use the Protege trimmer on that, which is equipped with a tooth cutter on it, of course. And this is one of those videos which I want to really talk about this deep tooth cutter blade. I know I did mislead a lot of people with it being called the one blade, which is not the one blade, I guess. Sorry about that. But anyway, look, this thing is still worth the money. Get it. It's a few cents off. It's a few cents difference in comparison to the one blade, so why not? I mean, this thing does an amazing job. Look at that, cutting like butter. Get you one. This thing is amazing, and I've been using it for a good month, maybe 2 now, and I'm sold. This is probably my favorite blade right now. This is my go-to. And in a following video that I'll do a follow-up on after I post this video, of course, look up to the following upload that will be, of course, showing you the one blade in action. But anyway, back on topic, let's get back on track. This thing is easy to use, and I like to use both hands as I line up. I like to switch hands because certain angles are meant for the right hand, certain angles are meant for the left hand. That's something you should definitely be practicing, is how to be ambidextrous. You got to be able to use both hands. Certain things just won't turn out that great, and your haircuts will definitely make a difference when you start learning how to use both hands. Is it that deep to have this skill set? Not really, just a great thing to have. You know, it makes life easier. And that's what I'm here to tell you, is make life easier for yourself. And of course, there's a little bit of overcorrecting that I'm doing here with his lineup due to how it grows. He has a bit of a colic on the front, which I will probably get into in a whole nother video. One day I'll dedicate his lineup in particular to just the lineup process on how to deal with colics in disguise, because he definitely does have a colic in disguise. That thing can be challenging at times, but this is the reason why I left the hair dark. I didn't want to cut it all the way down. I usually will do that every once in a while, depending on the look that we're going for him in particular, or if he's stayed away from the shop too long, there's times where we have to go pretty low on that front line. Now, if you know, I like to, of course, manipulate the fringe. That's what helps my lineups look 3D or enhanced. As some people think I use enhancements on my videos, I do not. I just manipulate the hair the best way that I can. Like in this case, you can tell this thing looks like money. No holding spray. I don't even think water was necessary for this one. I don't remember. I gotta run that video back. Y'all run it back. I don't know. I don't remember. I usually spray water on top of my client's front part of the hair, even the beard as well. Now that I think about it, I definitely did use water to manipulate this front line. It looks too good. It definitely does look good. I mean, what y'all think? Definitely using that for the beard as well. If you don't know, this is the best way naturally to manipulate hair to help it look enhanced. And for the top, of course, I'm just going to do shear work, no trimmer, no clipper whatsoever. And when it comes down to that beard though, I tried my best to be detailed about that for you. I had great angles and footage of the beard, which is definitely going to be helpful for some of you. So go ahead and of course stay tuned for that. He's going for a different look this time around. He usually keeps it disconnected. I'll show an image or video floating around of that and how he usually wears it compared to what I would do for him today. And I'm sure the next time I see him, he's probably going to switch it up again. And hopefully I can get footage of that so you can see what different look he has going on. Anyway, stay tuned. Keep watching through this video. I'm going to go ahead and recline him and work this magic on this beard. It is patchy, not so patchy to the point where it's impossible to work with. It's just got some light spots in the cheek area, which I have to somewhat manipulate because I'm going to trim it down just a little to try to blend it. And of course, I'm using my water, spray some of that on there to make sure I can control this a little bit easier. And I'm going to use a hot comb on it so I can make sure that everything's combed out and pretty much prepped for a fresh line. I won't be doing too much trimming off of the beard because he's planning on growing it, which he never really gets this beard this long. I've never seen it this long on him. This is the first time he's actually worn this beard this long and me cutting him. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead, prep this, get everything combed out, brushed, whatsoever that you need to do. I'm going to tame a little bit of the mustache around the cheek area, like I said, you know, and yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into this line. So just watch this for a while. I'm not going to talk too much through the beard. This is kind of like one of those self-explanatory things. If you do want me, of course, to do more detailed bearded haircuts and get more deeper into breaking down the beard and the process of how to do it, let me know in the comment section. Leave a comment, y'all. I've been saying this in my past videos. If you want to see more videos of me breaking down a full service, hit me up. Let me know. If you don't want to leave a comment, you could always DM me on my Facebook, my Instagram, my Threads, whatsoever. I'm not even sure if you can DM on Threads. Hit me up on TikTok, whatever, you know. I got different platforms you can hit me up on. Also check out some of the work on there. I definitely keep content coming out daily. As of late, I've been really kind of chill on the content. I'm not really sure what is been up with that. I kind of just have been recording a whole lot of footage of everything that I've been doing, and I'm just getting ready to pump it all out. So over the next several weeks into the end of the year, stay tuned for a big dump of just content. And if there's anything that you would like to see me do next in a upcoming video that I may not have in my stash, let me know. Hit me up. Now there goes that hot comb. I'm going to go ahead and comb through the beard just to make sure everything is pulled out all the way. And of course, this is just prepping the beard for a good line. Usually, some people say no to heat. There's some people that definitely need heat. I know this is not everybody's favorite. There's some people that are very nervous about heat. It is the funniest thing, but to the extent of seeing them jumping, and I know who to not use this on, because you also have to be the judge. There's some people that want the heat all the time after they see what it does, and you have to talk them out of it. You should not be always putting heat to the beard. It's not meant for everybody's hair texture. Anyway, I'm just making sure he's comfortable and straightened out so I can start off in the middle. And before I get any further into this liner process, this is what he usually would wear his beard like. And there's a separation from the mustache and of course the beard itself. It's very different. Definitely a different look. But yeah, that's that. I just wanted to show y'all what he usually would wear versus what he's doing now. And some people do wear this beard the way he has it in this floating video that I'm showing you, and it works for some, like it works for him. It's actually very fresh. Some people definitely don't like this beard. It's just different. It's not for everybody, but as you can see, he's growing out those handlebars around the mouth area, the so-called goatee area of the beard, and we're getting him fresh. We're getting him right. So I'm starting off with the bottom line. He does have his hair grow pretty low to about where the Adam's apple area is, but he wants it like pretty much above at the Adam's apple. So in this case, some of you savages or so-called comment section criticizing committee, this usually is something that happens a lot on IG or TikTok rather. People will definitely attack me for what the client is requesting. This is a client's preference when it comes down to the lineup that he is receiving from me, that I am executing for him. This is a preference. It's not another grown man or woman's business how this man is requesting that I line him up. This is what he wants. So please don't come for me. It's just client's preference. Love y'all. It's all love, but appreciate the comments and all that feedback. I definitely appreciate the constructive criticism is what I live for. I appreciate when people give me constructive criticism because it helps me get better. It helps me bring you more quality content versus you just bashing me or knocking me down for simply doing what somebody wants me to do, or me simply giving off wrong information or saying the wrong thing, or pronunciation is a little bit off, exactly like how I just say pronunciation. Imagine how I just say that. Somebody will find that just so crazy. I am bilingual. A lot of people don't realize that English is not my first language. It's something that I don't speak all the time. I do have a whole nother language. Yes, I speak English a lot, but it is a whole nother language that I speak. And you can't judge me for certain words that I say wrong. If I'm repetitive with certain words, hey, the average individual walking around here is not using these fancy words, and I'm not here to use these crazy words to please anybody. I'm not here to give you this very politically correct grammar. I'm going to be flawed, y'all. So bear with me, forgive me, And if I'm saying too much right now, I'm gonna be quiet and just let this rock out for a bit, vibe out with what I am doing. I hope this is a good angle to see me working on the back of the beard, which I usually jump into right after I establish that bottom line. So work on the back of the beard. Some people start at the back of the beard, then work their way to the bottom, but this is how I do it. And always remember, the way I say it is not always going to be the way to do something or execute a particular line. Like in this case, you have to be the judge. Improvise. Remember that word, improvise. Work according to what you see in front of you, not what I am saying or any other person here on YouTube or whatever platform is telling you to do. Because if you keep on listening for verbatim, word for word, what somebody is telling you to do, you're gonna fail miserably. You won't do good work. You won't produce quality. It's not going down like that. It's just the truth. This is a handwriting in a sense to where every barber won't have the same style of how they cut or the quality of work they produce due to the fact that this is like a handwriting. Imagine everybody has a different signature. I have probably one of the worst signatures. I can show it to y'all, but I'm not gonna do that. Besides, I mean, it's not like somebody's gonna just forge it. Besides, I don't have anything for you to take from me when it comes down to taking my identity, but please don't try that. Please don't do that. Don't do that to me. But anyway, look, listen, this is a handwriting. Every barber is unique with the way they produce their work. It's a handwriting, you know? It's kind of like, just to segue into this one topic in particular that we've been talking about at the studio over at my suite, is business cards. Are they relevant? Yes, they are. In my opinion, a new business card is a social media platform, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, you name it. YouTube is your business card. This will establish to others what it is you are about, what it is that you do. Everybody comes on here and sees me cut. They see me work on haircuts. This is what I do. I am very detailed. I move very slow, and I'm detailed and very particular with the look that I do go for. So nobody judge my haircut style. This is my handwriting that my customers are willing to pay for. Okay, these are my supporters. They support me, kind of like those of you who are supporting by watching this video. In a sense, that is the most kindest thing you can ever do, and criticize me in a way which will help me learn. Don't turn me into your punching bag. If you see my haircuts in real life compared to what you see on film, what the camera catches, which is amazing in my opinion, when you see my haircut in real life, it looks phenomenal. Like one of my guys comes through, he calls my phase the phenomenal phase. And hey, they are exquisite, you know? But when you put stuff on camera, oh man, that camera shows a whole different sight. It's a whole different scenery, it's a different ball game. So with that being said, yeah, those of you who don't post your work and come on here and feel brave to say all these words that are nasty and not criticizing as in constructive criticism, yeah, just keep that to yourself, okay? Anyway, that's enough of that. I'm drifting, okay? So the fact that I've established the bottom line, the back of the beard, as well as the line around the cheek area, I have to get around the mouth. So instead of getting the outside part, I'm going to get the inside part. So we're gonna go with the squared look. So I haven't, of course, putting air into his cheeks, making sure he's open enough space. This is equivalent to stretching when you're using, for example, the blade or the trimmer in some cases, but I'm having him get a good stretch by putting air. Now he's pretty much holding that, and some people are not able to maintain this, so you have to, of course, remember to keep people in a breaking habit, so have them break every once in a while. But this is a very simple way to execute that line. And when I establish the inside part on those vertical bars, especially like here in this case, I start to move out on the outside part of the handlebars and get them straight. Then tighten up anything else that needs to be cleaned up, like that sole patch area. He doesn't have a huge sole patch, it's very small in size. Get that clean. And of course, that bottom line, I just kind of keep it natural as possible. You don't want to manipulate too much. So in this case, I'm overcorrecting a bit. This is not something that everybody wants, is manipulating too much of the natural line. A lot of my customers or clients definitely appreciate a natural line, but in this case, I am overcorrecting to a more unnatural shape around that mouth area. But this is what the request on his beard is, and that is what I am doing. After I establish both of the vertical bars, of course, I move on to the line on the lower part of the mustache and make sure that that is tightened up right before I move on to the top line, which is above or right below the nose, rather, is what I meant to say. But of course, I have to get this corner just a little bit tightened up just a bit more before I get into any more further details into the mustache. So hope this is a way to make life easier for some of you who have a hard time moving around the beard. You want to make sure that you are having your client blow air into the cheek, so that way all the details are applied properly and easily. This is very simple stuff. I know some people have never heard of these types of techniques or whatsoever. And also, if you see this shaver, this is the Uno. I highly recommend you get this, especially for beard details. For those of you who have a hard time working the razor around the beard and the mouth area especially, this is of course one of the best tools to have when it comes down to prepping for the razor. Before you apply it, just make sure you go around all the areas that you will be using the blade on to make sure that all that extra stubble, which you have a hard time removing with the straight razor alone, you can remove right before you apply it with the foil shaver, the single shaver that is. You can manipulate your razor or foil shaver, which has the double foils, but you want to make sure you do this easy and fast. Okay, so as you can see, I did do the line at the bottom of the jaw first, then I started to work my way around the mouth area and the vertical bars. Got the outside and worked my way onto the cheek area. This is the way that I find it easier, or the easiest is what I'm trying to say. But if you have a better way that you do this, keep on doing what you do. Otherwise, please try this method and work your way from the inside part to the out. This will make your life a lot easier. This is the best way that I usually do it, but this is something that you will also definitely may have to improvise depending on who you are working on, the texture of their hair, the skin type, you name it. And I am doing this dry. I find myself doing a lot of clients dry, but you don't always have to do it dry. I do use gel on some clients and on others foam, of course, but this is all determined based off of what the hair texture is and skin type. Anyways, with that being said, you have to, of course, not take my word for word with everything that I say. You just got to take some of this even as little as 10%, and apply it to your skill set of what it is that you do. How I do things is not perfect. Like how I'm stretching out by the nose, on the corners of his nose and the cheek area. This is the way that I do it. It helps me out tremendously, and I hope a lot of you that are watching and need the help are applying this to your skills set. Everything helps. Doesn't matter who you're receiving it from. Okay? There may be something I'm doing wrong that you will learn from, and you will see me do something that you may never do because you know it is wrong. And if you feel like you have to correct me. But guess what? Like me getting the back of his beard, right? A lot of people don't use that technique. They don't use that skill. They never get the back of the beard. They just let people walk on out without getting the back of the beard. The way I fold up this piece of paper, which is the neck strip, everybody does not do that. I never throw away the neck strip. I always fold it down. And when I apply, for example, in this case, after doing all the detail work, removing everything in sight that I see visibly with my naked eye. And if I have to look in through the camera lens with this angle that I'm shooting from, I do that. Otherwise, you can always use another phone device, if you have one, in hand and look at the details to see what you have missed and go ahead and get rid of it. Anyway, that's enough of that. And this video is a wrap. I hope you found this video helpful. If you know a friend that may find this informative whatsoever, please forward it to them, share it, like this video. Please subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my different platforms. I will catch y'all on the next one.